So what is going on, everyone? Fernando Silva here with another video, and today we're going to be going over iPadOS 15 Beta 4, the follow-up. So in these videos, what I like to do is go over battery performance, give you guys my recommendation as to whether or not it's worth installing, and honestly, it's really good, so maybe it is at this point for even people that use it for their main device. But we're also going to go over some new features that I found that kind of didn't make it to the original iPadOS 15 Beta 4 video. And then finally, if you guys want to find out more about Windows 365, I finally have it running on the iPad Pro, so definitely subscribe because that's going to be my next video moving forward. But without further ado, let's talk about iPadOS 15 Beta 4. Okay, so let's hop right into this, everybody. So if we go into settings, I always like to show the About section, see what version we're on. So we're on 19A. 5307G. So like I said last time, with Beta 3 we were on H, and before that we were actually, I think, on V, which means that Apple is slowly but surely moving forward in the beta process, and I do believe we're going to have anywhere from 7 to like 10 betas before the September release, because it is going to come out probably mid to late September after their main iPhone event. But I did want to show off some other features that we didn't notice in the first video. So the first thing that I wanted to show off was, we know that we found a low power mode inside of iPadOS, which is the first time Apple brought that over when it came to iPadOS, because we only had low power mode on iOS, which I always loved. So we do have this little low power mode toggle, which all it does is it brings it down to reserve energy, kind of changes up the notifications and things like that. But what I noticed today was if you go into display and brightness, you have this auto lock and lock feature, right? So there's two things that we did notice. So if you don't have the low power mode on, this is what it looks like, leave it like that. But it does say here at the bottom, automatically lock and unlock your iPad when you close and open the iPad cover. So that's a setting that I haven't seen before, but you can just turn that on and that happens. But now, let's say we go to low power mode. So click on low power mode. You can see that this auto lock feature is now grayed out, because every time you go into low power mode, when in low power mode, auto lock is restricted to 30 seconds. So that is a new little thing that I noticed with low power mode that really wasn't there before at all. Another thing we noticed that was actually with focus mode. So if we go to focus modes, let's turn on do not disturb or anything like that. So you can see that the focus mode has been turned on, and then if we lock the iPad and then try to unlock it, you can now actually interact with your focus modes on the lock screen, which before with Beta 3 that was not possible. So you can now toggle between your focus modes inside of the lock screen as opposed to having to unlock it and get into it, because before this would show up but you could not actually physically interact with it. Now you just click on there and now you have the open focus modes. Something else that we noticed, so if you go into settings and then go into the accessibility settings, so if you go wherever accessibility is, it's right here, and then you go to voiceover, and then if you scroll down, we now have a new settings menu called quick settings, which I don't really know what it does because I don't use too much voiceover, but I think it allows you to change your settings with your voice rapidly, hence the name quick settings. But that's a new toggle, which, I'm always loving when Apple includes more and more accessibility features, because again, they're just opening up the door for more people to interact with iPadOS and iOS. Another one that we saw was actually inside of privacy. So if we go into privacy, go to location services, and then if you scroll all the way down to system services and then go to significant locations, you now get this new summary page, which I didn't even know existed. So I think it just kind of lets you know where you've been most often and then categorizes them as a significant location. So it's something for your system to really remember every time you're in that area to kind of take you back to that area. So I think that's kind of nice to have. It's just a new settings menu that they added in there. And then something else that they added, which they actually added in the previous update. So if we go into transfer or reset iPad, you now get this whole new welcome screen. So you get started. I don't really want to do anything because, prepare for your new iPad, but I'm obviously not going to do this right now because I'm still on the beta and don't want to erase anything. But this is a new little splash screen, right? And you can even check trade-in status, earn money by recycling your iPad, good for you and good for the planet. So it's a nice little splash screen when it comes to preparing for a new iPad and erasing your content. So that's actually pretty much it when it comes to new features that I noticed inside of iPadOS 15 Beta 4. Again, nothing crazy, nothing new that's going to help make your life better or more efficient, just some new little toggles. The coolest one is by far the low power mode and how it also affects your display settings and your display brightness and things like that. So as you can see, we're in low power mode and it's already dimming only 15 seconds into me kind of showing off the home page. But the last thing I do want to check out is battery performance. So if you go back into settings, go to battery, we are in low power mode like I said, let's go to the last 10 days and kind of see what we're dealing with, right? So we're going to check on one of these larger days because everybody knows that the best way to check your battery consumption is when you go to the last 10 days. You can see here we used about 75 to 80% of our battery, we got about 4.5 hours of screen on time, and you can see that LumaFusion 57 minutes took up 34% versus 50% with 3 hours of usage on YouTube. So those are all things that you gotta want to take into account when really testing out your battery and trying to get the most out of it. So you can see on a day like Monday, 4 hours and 40 minutes with about, as you can see, here we had only a little bit over 50% battery use. So on a day like this, maybe we could have gotten almost 10 hours or 9 hours of battery life. And you can see over the weekend, not much usage, but again, today we're using it a lot. So little by little, I'm hoping to get this iPad battery life to that 9-10 hour mark, but it's been a struggle, and I'm hoping that once the betas are done and we're getting the official release on these iPads, then that'll help out a little bit too. But that's pretty much it for the battery. Let's get out of this view and go to the normal view. So that's pretty much going to do it for this video, everybody. Like I mentioned, it is a great update at this point. iPadOS 15 Beta 4 has run pretty stable, even to the point where I'm running beta software on iPadOS beta software. So I'm kind of testing out other applications that I'm going to have a video on very, very soon. Windows 365, hint, hint. But even that is able to run on a beta actual operating system, which is good to see, especially if we're going to start getting to beta 5 and beta 6, and ideally get iPadOS 15 released to the entire public by mid to late September. But like I said, overall it's been working great. You saw that there was a couple new features that we noticed, like that low power mode thing that we noticed, where it doesn't let you keep your display setting or your display on forever unless it's out of low power mode, which I absolutely love. So kudos to Apple for bringing that over, and all those other little visual changes that we noticed along the way. So we're finally getting towards the middle and end of these beta updates, so every beta from now on is probably going to have less and less updates for this iPadOS 15, and then the big updates will probably come out with iPadOS 15.1 Beta 1 and things like that. But that's going to do it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Comment below, are you guys going to install iPadOS Beta on your iPad devices, even if it is your main device? Because for the most part I recommend it, but I don't want to be like, yes, do it immediately, because if somebody does have an issue with it, then that's kind of on me. So for the most part, it's been working great for me, but that's not always the same thing depending on what iPad you have, how much storage. They're all a little bit different. But like I said, overall I do recommend it because it's been great, it's been stable, and we're pretty much only, I want to say 4-6 weeks away from the final release. But like I said, that's going to do it for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, check out Paperlike, channel sponsor, always keeping us protected, and until next time,